Hello, my friends. My name is Don, and today I'm going to be going over one of the Stormbringer magazines. This is issue number 4. I had done issues 1, 2, and 3 in a live stream a while back, and then I kind of let these get away from me. I've already gotten my 4th delivery, which is, I believe, through issue number 14. So today I'm going to be trying to catch up a little bit by doing one of these magazines. Issue number 4 is the first issue to come with paints. It comes with 4 pots. We have this pale green, the Auric Flesh. We have Retributor Armor, a gold, really handy one. My current pot is actually almost out, so I'm glad to have a spare. We have Cantor Blue, a nice blue that I have been using for my Stormcasts. I'll show those a little bit later. And lastly, we have Leadbelcher. Some people swear by this paint. I am not the biggest fan. I don't know if I just had a bad batch, but it was getting really either too clumpy or too thick, or something was wrong with it. So I started using Vallejo dark aluminium, which I find so much better. It goes on much more easily. I need to use fewer coats. I just love that paint compared to anything Citadel, honestly. Alright, it also came with this starter brush. These aren't great. They are fine to start with, just if someone's never painted before. The bristles themselves are not fantastic. They will not last forever, so if you do pick up these magazines, the first thing that you want to replace is probably the brush. And with that, we'll open it up. Alright. Skyheld. Hidden deep in the mountains of Ramet's Spine is a place of wonder, terror, and ancient secrets. This is Skyheld, a colossal, once-lost library of the ancient Dracolith that is now a sprawling city home to many scholars and pioneers. Long ago, Skyheld was an archive of the Dracolith people. Since its rediscovery by Karajan explorers, it has grown from a temporary expedition to a mighty fortress city. The central library citadel houses countless parties of scholars and delvers eager to crack open the lost secrets of Skyheld and make their fortune. Their efforts are supported by a vast population of hunters, loggers, and laborers. With space in the icy mountain shelves of Ramet's Spine at a premium, most must dwell in temporary lodgings. The library itself is protected from Gur's rampaging geography by magical means, but most of the city is not. Settlers battle the elements and rebuild their homes following frequent natural disasters. This constant upheaval makes the people of Skyheld a hardy and versatile folk. The boldest of their numbers support the city by hunting stonehorns, braving the wild, stomping grounds of these beasts in hopes of obtaining the gems found within their stony bodies. Yep. Put some models in the way here, so I need to... Wasn't really thinking ahead of where I was going to space this out. Alright. The Iron Thanes. The Iron Thanes are persistent predators who use the weather as a weapon. They defend Skyheld from invaders by luring them into high mountains, raging blizzards, and treacherous ice fields. Only when the enemy is exhausted and half frozen do the Iron Thanes attack. They fall upon their enemy in a hail of furious strikes and storm-charged arrows before fading into the icy mist. And the Fungal Threat. Many dark forces covet the knowledge found in the heart of Skyheld. Among the most determined are the Gloomspite Gits of the Hollow Skulls. These grots believe idiocy is a virtue and all knowledge must be destroyed so the realm can become a place of mindless violence. They burrow beneath Skyheld to destroy its precious scrolls. To tame the wilderness. Skyheld's survival depends on the Dawnbringer Crusades. The city must stand, for the knowledge found in its depths is invaluable and irreplaceable. However, its tenacious location means that fuel, food, and workers are always in short supply. Each Dawnbringer Crusade represents a vital lifeline for the city. Some have been sent to fertile lowlands, while others seek key realm gates that will expand the city's trade routes to reach beyond Gur. The settlers found in these Dawnbringer Crusades often volunteer to escape the biting cold found in Skyheld itself. or in the wake of the destruction of their homes by avalanche or earthquake. From there, they brave the narrow icy passes and swampy lowlands that surround the city before venturing forth into the realm. Few will survive this arduous journey. Alright, and the next page is the first How to Paint tutorial. It has some very basic stuff on there, the things that you'll need. If you have never painted before, this is great, but for someone who's been doing this for 20 years like myself, this is all very common knowledge. Water pot, paints, get a palette of some sort, brush, and of course some models. Alright, and it continues with more tips. There's some diagrams, let's see if I can get it in frame, of a bunch of different types of brushes. Again, really great for new painters. And then it's how to paint. It's going to show actually a tutorial of everything they want you to do for your models. Starting with the Stormcasts. One thing that they also did in Imperium that I'm not the biggest fan of, they just show you how to paint straight onto the models without any primer. I will always prime a model first. I have a friend who paints directly on the model. It just doesn't work for me. I've been doing this my entire time painting, so I will always prime. I know a lot of people are the same way. In fact, I rarely hear of people ever doing this, these days anyway. So it starts out with an undercoat on the Stormcasts of Retributor armor. I have a spray can of Retributor armor already, so I went ahead and primed them up using the spray can. I often find that if you spray it and really try to get in all the crevices with the spray, it can kind of gunk up the model a little bit. So I went kind of light and then filled in with just a one brush coat of Retributor armor. So it shows wanting to do the entire model, 1 coat, 2 coat, 3 coat, and then moving on to the Cruel Boys. So for the Cruel Boys, again, it shows just doing the whole thing in the Auric Flesh. Let me reach back here. I don't have an example handy. So for the Cruel Boys, what I did was I went ahead and did a medium gray primer just all over the model, and then a zenithal highlight with just a white over the top, just so I can see a little bit more of the detail. I did not then paint the whole thing green, because that would kind of negate the point of doing the zenithal highlight. Instead, I just did the fleshy bits green. A little bit more about base coating, and adding up the Cantor Blue and the Lead Belcher. Showing where to paint some more of the blue on the models. And the final showcase of how these models turned out with just these 3 paints on them. And I'm going to go ahead, since we're doing a paint issue, I'm going to show off my models and how they are coming along. For my Knight Arcanum, again, I'm just going to be following the instructions in these books, just for fun, to see how it turns out, and because my other paint scheme for my Stormcasts is way too involved. I wanted to do one that's relatively quick and easy. So yeah, it is mostly the gold on her, the blue for the cloak and the sleeves and the shoulders, and a little bit of metal. But this paint scheme is nice and easy. I actually did finish the gold on there. I forgot to get back to it. Nice and simple. Having the gold spray can makes it so much quicker. I'm going to do another blue on the banner as well. Just one more coat should do it. Alright, moving on. Next page. We are adding the Lead Belcher to the Cruel Boys. I haven't actually gotten around to this yet. I did all of my Cruel Boys and my boss with the Auric Flesh, but I have not gotten around to adding the aluminium. And there's their showcase of those models so far. I've only got a couple set aside. So we've got the boss, again, just did the body and the base parts. A couple of the boys. And these are all still sub-assembled, so that I could... Don't break it. On camera, right? There we go. I can take it apart and get in some of those hard-to-reach places if I need to. And then lastly, we've got the Stabagrat. Alright, so then we get into some rules. And this one talks about rend and damage. If you're not familiar, a lot of weapons have armor penetration, or rend. In this example, the Knight Arcanum's weapon has a -1. Normally you would need a 5 to save for the Gut Rippers. If you roll a 5, you -1 from it, getting a 4, so you would fail the armor save. And then damage, some weapons deal more than 1 damage. Oop, if I can get that in frame. Don't have this framed perfectly. Some weapons deal more than 1 damage, so that's something to take into account when running your scenarios as well. And then it goes through the attack sequence, adding the rend to the sequence that they had used in the previous issue. All right, and then the battle for this issue, Unleashed Fury. It uses Killaboss and Stabgrot, as well as the 10 Gut Rippers, and 5 Vindictors and the Knight Arcanum. Let's see. The Stormcast Eternals and Cruel Boys prepare for another savage clash. This time, they will use their full strength to secure victory, holding nothing back as they attack their foes. Your battle continues. In this battle, you will use rend and damage characteristics to unlock the full potential of your warrior's weapons. You and your opponent's units will continue fighting one another until there are no units left that can fight each other. After you have taken your first turn, use the on later turns instructions to keep battling. Moving into battle. First, lay the battle mat you received in issue 1 on a flat surface to play. Next, decide who will play as the Cruel Boys and who will play as the Stormcast Eternals. If you cannot fit all the models inside one of the circular zones on the board, just do the best you can. It's okay if some are slightly outside the circle. And this is still a simplified version of movement. Instead of having them move in inches, which you normally would do, it just has them move from one circle to the next. On the first turn, both move into combat, and then you fight it out. The Gut Rip is against the Knight Arcanum, and still Knight Arcanum fighting back. The next page is the Killaboss and Stabgrot against the Vindictors. It's got a little write-up for the scenario end here. Another nice little diagram, or photograph, of all of the models that come in the magazines in total. And a sneak peek at the next 2 issues. We have a Praetor Prime. This is one of the... I believe this is the only, I could be mistaken. I did get a random-ass mini. I will show that off later. But I believe this is the exclusive mini with the magazine. I don't think you can get this anywhere else, and I think it's the only exclusive with the magazine. Then we've got some Hobgrot Slittas. And that is it for this issue. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you'd like to leave a comment or throw a like down on the video, that would be appreciated. Tell me what you think of this new format. I like the live streams because my friends show up and we can chat, but I think this is going to work a little bit better because I don't have to worry about my cat knocking everything over, ruining my camera, any of that stuff. Alrighty, thank you so much. I love you all. Good night.